Welcome back to another episode of Unranked Podcast. Coming to y'all, it's January 31st. Great season by our Detroit Lions. Obviously, everybody knows by now it came to a screeching, painful, gutting halt Sunday night. But all in all, definitely proud of the season that the Lions had. Exceeded expectations in many, many ways. So today we'll just dive into the game, touch on the season overall, and our thoughts on how things went this year. And yeah, that being said, I'll kick it over to you just to kind of touch on your thoughts from the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Just a straight blow to the stomach as far as a loss. Jumping out the gates that way, J-Mo hitting that 42-yarder. I think we called that on here. Just get him that ball in space. Just trying to find a way to feed him the ball. He's electric. So just that happening out the gate, just getting up 17. Midway through the game, I thought we had things rolling. We had things in our favor, and complete momentum on our side. And so it's one of those things. It's very tough loss. A learning experience, I would say, from both a pretty young team, young coach as far as experience goes, top down ownership, general manager, coaches. None of them ever been in this position before. We were all first time to the dance. Lights get a little brighter, decisions a little more important. Top tier coaching, top tier execution has to happen, and we just kind of let go of the reins. Come third quarter, completely drop the reins. Come fourth quarter, and it ended obviously how it ended. So, I would say just a couple of things that does stand out to me. Was I think we came out very unpredictable. I think we came out with those scripted plays, hit the ground running hard, and just got on them like a pit bull out of the gates. And that was something that I think they were not expecting. We were on the road. I think we knew we went and we scored, got the ball back, scored again. We were answering. Their punts to us were just getting taken, not back to the crib, obviously, but they were punting us, and then we were going right down the field with ease. And I thought that gave me a lot of hope that we could continue to do that. Running game was going pretty well. I mean, first half, second half, night and day games. I think we probably should have kept more of that same game plan as far as offensively goes. Just really continue to pound that rock. Try to find a way to get J-Mo the ball in space again. Get Gibbs the ball as far as just out the backfield, screen plays. I thought we kind of got away from just getting our playmakers the ball. It looked like a showcase for our last couple of draft classes in the first half. J-Mo, Gibbs putting his foot in the dirt on the 5-yard line and cutting it back for that touchdown. Those, it was like a showcase for what we had developed around in Detroit. And I just wish we really could have took that into the second half, and not completely let the momentum go, whether that was coaching blunders. I personally think he should have got the points. I've been saying that for 3 seasons. But whether it was that or whether it was the first fumble of the year from Gibbs at the worst time when momentum was kind of teetering back and forth, and then you fumble, kind of looked weird, like he potentially went the wrong way or quarterback opened up the wrong way.
Lined up.
Yeah, something weird happened. He fumbled, gave them the ball inside the 25-yard line. I mean, that's asking a lot for your defense when the momentum is kind of teetering. And I think that those series of plays, that couple of minute stretch, as far as not getting the points, getting the ball back after they scored, and I believe that was coming off a score from them when we got the ball back and then fumbled. And then that kind of was that little series of plays there. I think is where the game momentum swung enough that we had to start playing on the defensive side. For the whole game, we were on the offensive side. But I've been rambling for a hot minute here, so I just think that's kind of where I'm standing as far as great season but tough loss.
Yeah, I'm right. The execution type thing. It was just strange. Like, moment wasn't too big in the first half, but then the moment just got super big in the second half for whatever reason. But like you said, it came down to execution and just obviously the Niners made some adjustments to, kind of combat how we were coming at them. You always gonna laugh at me about talking about running the ball. One thing that I noticed, and this is why I kind of be so heavy on it, 29 carries as a team for the whole game, only had 7 in the second half. And I don't know, like you touched on everything like to a T, so I just gonna kind of jump in here in the weeds a little bit. That 4th and 2, the play before, did you see who was running the ball on that?
One of the receivers, right? Or no,
St.
that's St. Brown. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get too critical, but I'm just kind of confused. You know what I'm saying? By like, I don't know. It's just kind of like puzzling to see you got backs that were getting pretty much everything they wanted, and then to kind of try to like work that in. And I just kind of felt like we won't play the what if game, but it's like if you had a back in there, how does that impact that 4th and 2 where Reynolds dropped it? You know what I mean? Does it even go to 4th down? So that's just something I just thought was like super, super, super puzzling.
No, honestly, I literally forgot about that until you said that.
Yeah,
That's a great point because that was, I remember when that happened. It's
yeah. Because
why are we trying to be the smartest guys in the room? We got 2,000-yard backs.
Yep.
Give it to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after, I won't touch on the play with Vildor because that was just some fluke shit that I don't even have words for that play, to be honest with you. It was just fluke. That's all I'll say is I pray we can get some help in that secondary next year, somebody to make that play if they're in that same situation this time next year. That's all I'll say there. But after they score, we get the ball back, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking at stats, just kind of playing, not really playing a what if game, but David Montgomery, 15 carries, 93 yards, averaging 6 yards a carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12 carries, 45 yards, averaging 3.8 yards a carry. I just think I know, we wanted Jahmyr Gibbs out the box, like super bad, as soon as we drafted him. To me, it's almost like, I wonder if we're like looking at who's being productive, going with a hot hand or maybe even the more experienced hand. Because it's unfortunate that Jahmyr fumbled that ball, the way he did. And I kind of, to where I'm like, kind of would like David Montgomery to be in there, to where I thought the game was kind of sputtering a little bit, get some more like veteran, leadership in there to help stabilize things. So to me, I just felt like there's like a game within the game to where it was just like, man, like, there's a couple of things that went a certain way. I think if they would have just made different adjustments or had different personnel, might have been able to weather the storm. But the cookie crumbled the way that it did. So I just think like that, and then just want to touch on the 4th downs real quick. I was cool with the first one. Only reason I was cool with the first one, I felt like 2 yards. You watch this team be able to get that that first down successfully many times this year. You'll laugh at me again, but I wish we would have ran the ball because I felt like that was where our bread and butter was really, really at. And it was tough. I know we all had that angle where it looks like Reynolds caught that, but in slow motion, it just kind of like popped out of him from like behind. You know what I'm saying? Like the angle that we had. I was okay with that one. Obviously, they had that fluke play that kind of made that worse. But the second one, we're down 27-24, mid-4th. I know there's talk about the field goal, the kicker not being the best outside, certain amount of yards. But I just think there doesn't be a point yet. You have to stop the bleeding in a sense to where so I almost feel like, and this might sound kind of dumb, but I guess it's kind of my thought process. When you go for it on 4th and don't get it, that's a bigger, in my opinion, that can be almost a bigger kick in the teeth than like sending the field goal team out there. And then it's like, if he misses it, he misses it. They both suck, but I just feel like there's more of like a momentum swing when that defense sees that they stopped your offense and they come back down and score.
I agree. Just to interject real quick, I think, and from my point of view, I think the getting a stop is something that they are doing. They are actively getting a stop, tacking you behind the line of scrimmage, making a pass breakup, something like that. Versus this is almost like an enforced error on ourselves. We just missed the kick. You may or may not have had much to do with that. But it was something we just did. Maybe it just kicks left. And those type of things are plays that we are almost used to in football because, the new age football, they're trying to push these 4th downs. And I think, like you just said, the game within a game. Does it make sense sometimes? Yes. Everybody always is saying, hey, but Dan Campbell always goes for it. That's what we do. It made sense to get the point at the end of half. We thought then it made sense to get 3 points. So sometimes it does make sense to just get 3 points.
Yeah.
And then, other times it doesn't. But that's what we pay the coach big money for, is to decide when to push, when to push the throttle forward, when to hit the brakes, when, because of obviously essentially the same thing. You miss the kick, they get the ball there. You missed or fourth down, you go for it, you don't get the ball. But just the game within the game, kicking them deep, getting, pinning them down deep. We missed one of those. I can't think of who, but somebody just took it into the end zone. That's back to the old cliche, game of inches. We get them down inside the one, maybe it's different things happen. So it's I just think situationally, I kind of agree with you. I can't really remember where we were on the 4th and 2 when Reynolds dropped it, when we ran St. Brown. Yeah, 27. So yeah, I agree. Maybe I don't know. That'd be a time that also that's 27-yard line. Your kicker should be able to hit this. If you don't have a kicker that should hit this, that's an indictment on yourself. Particularly from the 27-yard line. That 48-yarder or whatever that would have been, 52. I forgot exactly what it would have been, but that's maybe a little more dicey. But maybe you should already had the 3 points in your basket, so that if you wanted to go for the jugular that time around, you had more of a buffer already in place. I just think, I don't know if you have anything else to say. It's just kind of,
I just want to see your thoughts, because what I thought was interesting, so glad we took the points when we were at the 3-yard line. But I think it's funny that we take the points at the 3-yard line, but then we go for it at the 27, to where I'm like, I'd be more okay with going for it at the 3-yard line, maybe not getting points, but at least they're at the 1. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was the end of the half.
Yes.
You can make their job hell trying to, if they just want to knee it and just get out of there, you can, put pressure on them in that aspect. So I almost felt like that was almost out of character for Dan Campbell. You know what I'm saying? To where he, I think I would have been okay with him going for 4th at the end of the half and not getting it, rather than going for 4th at the 27. You know what I'm saying? Yes. To me, it just doesn't make sense.
You're right though, because I don't remember the exact situation here, but not much time left on the clock. We could have played, if we know we're going to go for it, we could have played it different anyway. But then let's say you don't get it. You give them the ball at the 0 to 3-yard line. Call the timeout as soon as you don't get it. Make them have to snap it. Play that weird defense. Maybe there's a safety. Maybe some weird shit happens with snap. And then, I agree with you on that. And then 27-yarder, you should be able to hit that 30-something yard field goal any day of the week. So I agree with you on that. It was on character for him, but at the time, I'll be honest, I obviously been rooting for him to kick and be a little more conservative. So I was kind of happy we got the points, because when you're happy going up 17, going into the half, when they're getting the ball, So I think that was those are the time when you take the points. So
that was an important time to do it, especially because we also, I don't know about you, I like, if the team wins a toss, defer. But I get why we don't defer, because our defense has been leaking oil since week 12 or whatever, that's looked like, to where I feel like, to me, I just felt like it was kind of strange, to where I'm like, he's looking at the 4th and I'm like, go for it. Like, you're on the 3, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could, it could be, and granted, it could be 21-7 or 28-7, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it was just kind of strange, to where it's like, all right, we're being conservative on this one, but I'm sure not getting the ball at the half had a lot to do with that too. So like I said, I thought that was interesting. But I think overall, man, I mean, I just think back to and I don't know, I ain't gonna play the game everybody on Twitter is trying to play, but you got CJ Gardner-Johnson waving at halftime, 5 minutes left in the second quarter. It kind of sucked watching Reynolds kind of laughing about how, he dropped that pass, and he comes out and drops another one on 3rd and 10.
Great
and it's
call.
I feel like we just kind of started watching this team kind of fall apart in real time. They almost thought it was over. Like you said before we got on here, they were just too young for the moment, and it started showing. Gardner-Johnson been talking about this whole playoff run, how he'd been here before, need everybody else to, he bringing everybody else along. He probably had the worst grade out of everybody, talking the most shit, had, a pretty bad penalty. I think he still scored, but you know what I'm saying? It just, it almost felt like it almost happened too fast. Like if we would have saved a couple of those touchdowns for the second half, you know what I'm saying? Just how things kind of started to transpire. It just got to the point to where like I think the team was like, man, like we got this. But obviously the Niners came out and had different, they've been there before.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 years. They had different, obviously had different plans, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think like you said, it was an execution thing. I know I'm sure Dan Campbell gonna look at these 4 downs a lot differently. When he gets this opportunity again down the road. I know for him it's like a belief thing, but I think we gotta get him to like, a little bit more conservative side. Granted, he won us some games earlier in the season with his exact like how he does now. I can rattle them off right now. I remember New Orleans and Chargers. Like we needed to go for it to not make sure our defense weren't put back out there because probably would have lost those games. We need him to like be a little more consistent just across the board, and especially in the playoffs. You gotta
Yeah.
definitely gotta take the points you can get them.
No, I agree. I agree that it has played to our advantage.
Mm-hmm.
One game I could say it has not is the Dallas game.
Yeah,
So I
too.
think an eye for an eye. Kind of like what Rom said. Live by the gun, you
By
die
the
by the
gun.
gun. Yeah. So I think we're kind of falling in that camp, and you just got to know situationally when it makes sense. The
Mm-hmm.
Chargers moving the ball on us like crazy, you got to go do that. Here, they haven't scored 3 touchdowns the whole game, and then all of a sudden you think they can score 3 times in the final 7 minutes.
Right.
So I obviously the defense is not the greatest, but they've proven that they've done that
They
until
can
you do.
hang.
Yeah. So I think you just gotta believe in your guys a little more. But overall, I think you rewind this podcast back into September, heading into the Chiefs game. I was nervous about it. I was nervous about the season. I still had a lot of doubts about Dan Campbell. Heading into the season, he taken a lot of those doubts away. I do think he
Same.
seems to have pretty good reign here. He just makes boneheaded damn decisions from time to time. And he obviously cannot have too many of those. Because this is a good team. GM seems to be drafting well, so there comes a time and a place where those can't become too competitive or too repetitive because there's a common denominator who's costing his games here. So
Yeah.
I think, but he has removed a lot of issues that I did have. I just hope you brought this word up earlier, and it kind of I don't even want to say it, but you got to go do it again. This can't be a fluke. This can't be you know a runoff, and then next year you rattle off 8 wins. I think it's got to be playoff bound again. You got to get back into the dance again as far as just playoff bound. Good formidable team. Another crop of young players coming in again. Hopefully you can draft. If you draft equally as well as you have been, um, that's not going to be a problem. But
Yeah.
I just go and do it all again because that's what a good team does. We don't. I hope we're not sitting here in the 1994 year or whatever, and this doesn't happen again until 2054. You
Yeah.
got a lot of stuff cooking, and if you plan it right, the team could be set up for success for a while.
So, yeah. And I just, man, I think for me, like, before we hopped on here, it was just like how the excitement started to just slowly almost like take over the pain that we dealt with Sunday night. Man, this team hung with. I mean, all we've heard about is how great the Niners are the last 3, 4 years. How they're the Avengers. They got like all these all pros, all these guys over here. I just love how this team went in there and hit him in the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Just from like I get it, we didn't win, but just from like won't call it moral victory either. I just was very surprised how we hung around. And the one thing Dan Campbell, I mean, he had them guys prepared. I mean, they were churning up until things started to sputter. I mean, that first half, I mean, that was like a master class. With Ben Johnson and how things were going. But I mean, watching Sewell, he had him at like tight end, putting him in motion. And Laporta, I'm pretty sure he had over 100 receiving yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, like I said, he had that crazy run where he basically put the entire defense on skates. St. Brown being St. Brown. Brian Branch, he graded out very well and didn't even play a ton of snaps. guys were just making plays to an extent. You know what I mean? And like I said, the moment got too big to where they started to kind of crumble a little bit, but the future's bright. We hit. I mean, this draft class, we thought we didn't know what was going on in April, and this is probably the best draft class the Lions have ever maybe have ever had, besides the one with Megatron. But we don't even we don't really know who all is other than that one, Megatron and Stafford. But it's just a really good feeling to know that you got a lot of these guys up for extensions, so they're gonna be around for a little bit. A lot of these guys are on them rookie deals, so I think we really got a chance to be relevant, winning 11, 12 games, making deep playoff runs for at least the next 4 to 6 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's what we're set up for, and I think we have to have this type of success because we're not more or less we're not going to lose anybody.
Right.
And so you don't lose anybody. Obviously, Green Bay is going to be coming. You don't know what the Bears got up their sleeve, Vikings up their sleeve, but I think you maintain your home ground and do what you can do. You've proved the type of team you have. So
Yes.
coaches seem to be running it back. Aaron Glenn, obviously we might see, might not see, but Ben Johnson came back. Complete question mark of why he did that. I don't know. But
He loves Detroit. I saw a
yeah,
clip where he said he called Amon-Ra St. Brown middle of the night and was like, I'm not leaving. And that blew my mind. Yeah, that blew my mind
yeah,
because it's like both those opportunities, the Commanders and the Seahawks. I mean, I feel like those is both, one, Commanders, little they're in that rebuilding phase, but it's like fresh. Magic
yeah.
Johnson running that team with a couple other of those owners. Seahawks is a good gig. Yeah, this is the second time in a row to where he just sees something with his team, and I just need him to figure out them third quarters if he gonna come back in this fashion. I need him to figure out those
Yeah,
third
pound the
quarters.
rock a little more. Uh, no, I agree. A lot riding on this team here, and I think you can just see how much pride the team has. I don't know if you said it on here, but you joked that you're going to wear that every week for to the rest of the season. I mean, and obviously you're saying it joking, but overall, I mean, just people are hyped about the team.
Wow.
People are proud. People, just seeing people grown ass men crying in the stands, and the money they generated for the city, and just
Yeah.
how fun it was, and the celebrities popping out and all that good stuff. It was good for a lot of stuff, and
With the
you know,
draft around the corner.
draft around the corner coming to town. We've been we've been lighting it up in the draft. I'm not gonna hopefully I'm still gonna have my questions if they do random stuff, but things seem to have worked out. Um, uh, and I think I see the picture that Brad Holmes is painting. As far as how he likes to run things, it's going to be a big question mark about what he does with golf. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
We do have a couple of major things that obviously we'll get into and talk about throughout the year, but that'd be interesting because we haven't seen him on how he deals with
Extensions and
blank checks when it comes to quarterbacks. We haven't seen, we know he drafted one potential top 30 pick before he blew his knee up, and we got Hooker cooking on the bench. Is that what he's planning on doing and just shedding golf off, or are we gonna, so it'd be interesting to see what he does as far as the puppet master, the chess player,
yeah.
running the show. But I think hopefully we can build on this, and nothing but good signs is ahead. I'm hyped. And I agree with you. You said it's also very helping on, but just the feeling after the game where I wanted them to win, but it wasn't that much. It was still like a damn. They got this far, and with a lot of hope in for what they could do for the future with their young squad, and just all that good stuff. It didn't seem like it didn't feel necessarily like this was a one-time show. It felt like if they could build on this and be right back into a similar situation and very shortly. And that's kind of how I felt. It felt like we were the young team that just was inexperienced enough, or too inexperienced.
That's a hear the commentators or the analysts. That's what
Yeah,
I mean, even guys like JMO, like question marks all around him, gambling stuff going on, trying to get up to speed. And you would have thought that was preseason. Like, the way that he just was
yeah.
able to,
And I mean, and we obviously this is a whole nother conversation, but
Yeah.
and we do got question marks. J-Mo needs close to 1,000 yards next year and to be
He
healthy.
needs to take Reynolds' spot. Is what he needs. Reynolds
100%.
is, yeah. I think he
Yeah.
took Reynolds'
So I
spot
think
Sunday night.
I agree with you. But we got to see it. I see,
Yeah.
and he's obviously a big play machine. He has had play, but I've seen somebody where they combined his stats, and it was cool. But I also noticed they combined touchdowns and first downs. Said he had 11. I'm like, I ain't never seen this stat combined before.
Saw that too. That's
But
optimistic as a kid, ain't it?
yeah, so I think it is time for him to put up. It's time for you to
Oh yeah.
meet up
Hopefully
with
get
the
a
rest of
full
your draft
summer.
class. Yeah, yep.
Full
I
summer,
need
no injuries.
yep. A couple people like that. Hutch, coming back. Hutch is
Yeah.
you're gonna want $30 million a year. You got to come
Yeah.
with a good another 15 or so sacks that's coming up here. You
And
got
that
to
was yeah. And that was one guy too. He had a couple batted balls, but didn't record a single stat in any other category. And then also let Kittle pancake him for 50 million to
I
see.
seen that.
So I think he gonna learn,
It's a textbook breakdown.
yeah, I mean that's teach tape how that
Yep.
tight end got down on them like that. But I think one thing too, we talked about the draft, but free agency, I gotta imagine we can I don't want Brad to try to break the bank. I don't think he can even do that anyways, and having us re-sign Goff and some of these other guys. But I just hope I gotta imagine we can get. I'd love to get a corner, you know what I'm saying, edge rusher, D lineman, 2 to 3 guys, some complementary players, you know what I mean, and just continue to build from that draft, but to get us some like nice veteran leadership to kind of work into the bunch. Because yeah, I mean, and honestly too, even like going back to I'm all over the place right now, but even James Houston, like he ain't played since week 2, and he was, I mean, him and make an impact the way that he did, and Pascal, like we got some guys that just need some time to get a little more experience. But yeah, if we can add a couple guys to the bunch, there got to be a couple guys that want to come play just based off of what they've seen from this team
Yeah.
the last 2 years. So
No, I agree. A lot of positive signs. I didn't think much free agency aspect, but we also got some money freeing up. We're not going to sign Gardner Johnson probably back. There's a couple of guys that I think will. Yeah. So, no, I agree. I'm a lot of positive signs, man. I'm pretty excited about it. Just to
yeah,
have a real team, which is
yeah,
something that we haven't had. If we haven't had made the playoffs, we snuck in and got the break speed off of us or cheated right off rip. So it was good just go in and dominate a bit. And hopefully we can build on this and just learn from it.
yeah, absolutely. You learn
No,
from
it was
it.
good. It was fun just to talk about it, man. I think you said this and we mentioned before, but you called it at the start of the year. This would be the best or worst football season for us. And I I would have bet a lot of money that we would not be talking about the Lions come January 31st
Yeah,
as far as a game recap. Maybe get a new coach or something by now, but I didn't think that we would be talking about the NFC Championship. And so I think that just shows, how far we have came.
for
And
sure.
and maybe I should believe a little more. But still be critical. I can't drink too much of the Kool-Aid.
No, no, for sure. Yeah, no, like I said, I think you hit on the head, Dan. You earned a lot of my respect this year. And I even said before, like I just rock with him because player coach, you know what I'm saying? He understands like the Detroit culture. He was there when it was literally like down in the dumps, like the lowest. Nobody ever went 0-16. Maybe the Browns, but I don't think anybody else has. So I just think to me, it's like cool that he was a part of that, and then now he's a part of bringing this franchise hopefully back to solid relevance, excuse me, for the foreseeable future. And yeah, and I know he's small grades. I give him the team, and so I give him an A-minus. Only where I give the A-minus, I feel like we kind of let the game slip away this last game, but won't be too critical just given the situation and how it kind of transpired. But yeah, exceed expectations, division championship, playoff win, 2 playoff wins. Yeah, I tip my cap to him and the team.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. We brought up the grade earlier. I thought it was interesting because I had never really thought about that from point of what I would answer. So I probably be a little more critical than you, but I'm gonna go like because I do think in the heart of my hearts, I think he kind of cost us that game. Um, so I'd say as a recap, I think he cost us uh the Cowboys were definitely a chance to go win it in overtime. I think he cost us that. So I'll go like a B minus. I think he's I was gonna go B, but that's not far off from your A. I just think I generally just think he has a little bit. I mean, like you said, he's a young coach. I think,
Yeah.
and you know, and I think I don't know. It's hard for me to say. He said himself how tough it'd be to get back.
Yeah.
Um, I think he also should have realized that going into the game and know that you can't try to be, it's like I'm not gonna rehash the whole thing, but just when to be aggressive and when not to be. I think that's kind of his foe is
Mm-hmm.
you know if Brad Holmes keeps getting them the good players, his job is to figure out you know when to say hit me. So
Sure. Yeah. Get him a kicker. This is get somebody
yes,
that booted 50 some yards. There ain't no question with some of these. I think, sometimes it's almost like you gotta take the reins away almost. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like tighten them up a little bit, give them a reason. You got a guy that can hit 55 yarders. There ain't no reason to be going forward on 4th and 2 or whatever from your 27. So,
yeah.
hopefully that's
I guess
something
I'll
else.
say this. I guess I'll say this. I don't know what else we'd rank other coaches, but if we're giving him A minus now, that means basically he has no room for improvement. Like he has a very like
Yeah.
all of his sliders are already about up.
Well, I guess I was looking at it
But
like a final exam for the year. So he'll get a new grade next year.
I'm going credit, no credit, no.
He can regress next year for sure. We best try to go 8 and 9, C minus. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
no, I
think
feel on it.
just for
The
this,
body of work. Yeah,
yeah, body of work. I think beating the Chiefs on the road, the way that we was just, so competitive on the road in prime time. I just feel like at the end of the
yeah, getting
day,
flexed. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
hey, hell of a season. I'm
yeah,
not.
and to just show up when everybody's watching, because I thought he was gonna fold on a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? So I just think, yeah, I'm rambling now, just talking in circles, but hell of a season. I'm looking forward to diving into the free agency stuff, the draft stuff. The Senior Bowl is going on right now. It's nice seeing the Michigan Wolverines, Herman Wilson, showing out. Sounds like he's helping his stock already, and yeah, we'll be back with y'all next few weeks to touch on maybe some basketball, but probably really just more draft stuff. So.
Yeah, no, they're going knee deep in what the Lions or the Pistons got to do.
You are? You are?
No, no, not I. But all right, yeah,
All right,
we'll be back
y'all.
at y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.